Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review Married to Medicine. This is season 10, episode 9. So let's get into it. So before we get into it, we gonna get a little spicy, just a little, and talk about two things. Dr. Heavenly's response to Sweet Tea, as well as Sweet Tea posting this thing on her Insta stories. So I got this video by way of Pretty Brown Rise. So go check out her channel. But this is the audio of Dr. Heavenly.
My man so much. Y'all this might be too deep for y'all. I'm going too deep now. I ain't never caught my man cheating. I've never, he's never given me an inclination. I don't think he does. I think my mom used to say all men do, so you could never say for sure. That's been done. But I'm going to say this and I'm going to take it back. Honestly, I'm thinking I love my man so much. If he wanted some ass, I'd buy him some. I love my man. I'd buy him some. If that's what he wanted, if I feel like I'm all my husband ever wanted and needed. But if he wants some ass, it's just ass. I get it checked out. I get it, you know.
So I'm not going to play the whole entire video, but check out her channel because she has it. The video is only a minute and 4, but it's also a screen recording of what's her name, of Dr. Heavenly's live that she does on her channel. So that was Heavenly's response to, you know, the claims that Sweet Tea made about Heavenly, I guess, telling her or like, you know, alluding to that Damon has cheated on her. And that's why Heavenly was scared when Mariah was in that, when she, that infamous scene of, I got the receipts, baby girl. Do you want me to pull out the receipts situation? So I don't know. I feel like Damon probably has, with the way that Heavenly not true. It's the way that Heavenly acts around Damon when other women come around. But I also kind of think it's also Dr. Heavenly's insecurities. Like, we know Heavenly used to be very large back in the day. She was a BBW. She was a big girl, and she lost weight. And a lot of times, some women, if they don't really sit down and sift through their insecurities, it shows up in different ways where they feel like they got to be really territorial with their man because it's like they don't want another girl to take them. Or it could be Heavenly feels like she truly has a prize in Damon and she feels like other women might want to take her man. But that was her response to Sweet Tea. Well, I think on the 12th or the 13th, the 12th was my birthday. But you know what? I want to say thank you to everybody that wished me happy birthday, happy belated birthday, as well as gave me well wishes. I truly appreciate y'all. So I think this came out on the 12th and I screenshotted it. But what's her name? Sweet Tea posted this to her Insta story and it says, what should I release before the reunion? I'm thinking everything and then review it at the reunion. What y'all think? Hashtag unedited, hashtag unfiltered, hashtag the truth. Now, this is my thing with Sweet Tea. I don't really have an issue with Sweet Tea fighting with Heavenly. My thing is, I don't think she's going to win this fight. And I also think she's very ill prepared for this fight. I will be very surprised if we get to the reunion and Sweet Tea wraps Heavenly up. Sweet Tea gives very much like if she gets tongue-tied or really pissed off, she gonna be ready to throw hands the way she was yelling at her sister at that bachelorette party when that man told her they gonna need an extra $10,000 or $15,000. Like, she was really trying to get it with her sister in front of all those people. So I feel like if she can't articulate what she wants to say, she gonna try to swing on somebody. And that's just how, like, this is what I feel, you know. I could be wrong, but this is what I feel. I think Sweet Tea doesn't understand the game that she's truly playing. Sweet Tea is a fan like all of us, but Sweet Tea is a fan in the sense that she made a fatal mistake, in my opinion, by becoming a cast member on a show that she's a fan of, not really understanding what she got herself into. Because that's what it gives. Like, you've been watching this show for a while now. You know who Dr. Heavenly is. You know who she is. And you also know that's why you hit that nerve of Damon. So once you hit that nerve, you need to be prepared for that lady to hit that nerve on you. That's all I'm saying. Like, you shouldn't be wanting to fight her. You shouldn't cry or anything like that. But, like, to me, Sweet Tea, Heavenly started it with Sweet Tea. She did. But She shot back, but not, she didn't hit her target. She made it worse. That's what I'm trying to say. Because you fired back at her with the like your mama's in hell situation. She came back at you throwing your infertility in your face. Then your rebuttal to her was like your man is cheating, and now hers is your man be beating her. Like we get to Terry, like Heavenly gonna always one up, and I just don't think this lady ready. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying she can't fight back, but I don't know if she prepared for this confrontation. All right, y'all. So not much really happened in this episode. I don't, y'all know I be saying that, and then the video be like 40 minutes long. But let's go person by person. So we see Dr. Jackie. She's there with the Brat and Judy. She's talking about mortality rates, maternal mortality rates in Black women, which I was like, and because we had that whole situation during Christmas, and this, well, technically we're in a new year, so it's weird, last December, with that whole situation, that it is kind of but it also makes me think that Dr. Jackie has learned, because that video came out 3 years ago, and I'm not saying that like her words weren't ignorant. We talked about it, they were very ignorant. I just felt like some people were taking it too far, but I feel as though maybe she has changed, because if you're doing this whole campaign and crusade about Black women mortality rate, telling women that if you don't feel safe, you feel like, maybe she's changed, and like a lot of people says, people can speak a good game, but if her actions haven't changed, then what's the point? But hopefully her actions have changed, because it seems like she has a better understanding of it now. So, but yeah, she was with the Brat and Judy, and they had their baby boy. I don't know his name, but I think they did have like a Wee TV special. So congratulations to them. Simone. So Simone and Cecil are in the boys' new apartment. They're like trying to set it up. Simone is telling us a story about how like when she went into Cecil's first apartment, it was him and his friends playing video games, and he had a teddy bear from his ex-girlfriend in California. She was like, she remembers everything. But Cecil and Simone are happy that their kids are moving out because they're getting used to being empty nesters. We then see Michael and Miles come in, and Cecil tells them, use these, because they got like a case of condoms. Now, I'm not gonna lie, them condoms look like the cheap condoms they had at the health center at the university. I'm not gonna, that don't nobody, like, none of us felt were like very like like they look, did she say they were Durex? Because those Durex condoms are the ones that they give out. I don't know if they still give them out at my alma mater, but those, because I used to be in the I used to work with the health center, and we used to do organizations. We used to do outreach for like, things, like, like all the health events that they had at the health center. But I'm just saying, like, nobody ever wanted to get the Durex condoms. If it didn't say Trojan, nobody wanted them. And I was like, are they Durex? Because it's given Durex. Because I saw the different colors, and Durex be different colors. Don't know, but they had a case of those, and they was telling the boys, protect yourself when you have, when you're doing the do, also, be careful, because Simone and Cecil don't want no kids. I think it's wonderful that they were able to get them an apartment. I know when I got my first apartment, my parents paid for it and things of that nature, and they helped. And I think that's what you're supposed to do as a parent, as long as your kids are doing what they're supposed to do. If they're going to school, or if they have a career set, they're not just being bums, then I think you should help them. And I mean, I know some people feel like Miles is like on the on the cusp of being a bum, but I don't know, maybe he's just struggling. And I feel like I have more grace, because I know the struggles of school. Like, now, it didn't take me that long to get out of undergrad. For me, I got an undergrad in like 4.5 years, because I changed some things with my major. But I also remember people being in school that either like fell on hard times, or even if they didn't, they just didn't know what they didn't know. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They were like bogged down by the stressors of trying to find a job, or like find a career path that was really going to work for them. Because I don't think people understand how much emphasis we put on people, like when you go to college, to like already know what you want to do. And then I'm not going to lie, we do be looking at the people who are undecided weirdly. We do. like I remember, because of my major was in the School of Ag. when there would be kids coming to our school to take like general study classes, and we would be like, oh, what's your major? And you say undecided. We was like, you been here for a year, almost 2 years, and you don't know yet? Like, we would judge you. So I don't think we have garnered an environment where you can go to college and you just don't know what you want to do. Like, we haven't. We really haven't. And maybe if we made an environment where people felt comfortable doing that, we probably wouldn't have a lot of people dropping out or feeling ashamed in doing majors that they don't like. And then when they get to junior year, actually finding the major that they like, and then having to almost start all the way over and be in school for like 6 years and graduate. But yeah, I'm gonna let it go. So who else? I talked about Jackie. I talked about Simone. So Phaedra and Alicia. Won't much. Nothing. This conversation was, basically Phaedra telling us that she felt backstabbed or double crossed by Quad once they went to Napa Valley, and Heavenly let it out to, basically Heavenly threw a lot of people under the bus in Napa Valley when they was having them discussions with Quad. And basically Heavenly said, girl, you was talking negatively about Phaedra, girl. And you know how she said, Phaedra, you didn't even want to get on the plane with her. And so Quad had to cop to the fact that she did tell Heavenly that she thinks Phaedra is lying about not dating Dr. Greg, and that Dr. Greg told her that they did date, and Phaedra asked for money, a lot of money from him. And Phaedra was sitting at the end of the table with her scrunched face, like, girl, what you talking about? And so she feels as though she is processing her feelings when it comes to Quad. Now, two things with Phaedra. First, I need Phaedra to pull that wig back in her confessional, because her eyelashes are touching the bottom of the wig. It looks like Phaedra is consistently squinting, just when she talks to us. I don't get it. Either cut them lashes down or cut the bang down or pull the wig back. To me, here's the thing. I feel like Phaedra double-crossed Quad. Now, I still stand by the fact that I feel like Quad did this to herself. You can't put yourself on an island and then only have one person that visits your island at the time. For this season was Heavenly, and then you push that person off the island where you have everybody else is like, well, we don't want to visit your island anymore. You told those ladies you don't have an emotional connection with them, or you have no connection with them. Why do you think they would fight for it if you gonna tell them that? And then you didn't want to take accountability for the ways that you've hurt them, but you always wanted them to take accountability for the way that they hurt you. And granted, they should have, but you got to do it too if you want a relationship moving forward. I feel as though yeah, I just feel like it's crazy. You know what I mean? I just feel like she did it to herself. But I also feel like I feel like Quad also did this to herself, as well as you bring your replacement to the show. Quad and Phaedra have similar personalities. Are they the same exact personality? No, but the way that they show up on TV somewhat mirrors themselves. They are both extra, and they are like Southern belles, and they're very histrionics and all of that stuff. And I feel like some of the people ladies were like, why do we need Quad here if we got Phaedra? We're willing to get to know Phaedra, but we don't need to get to know Quad. We already know what she gives, and we tired of it. I feel like Quad brought her replacement to the show, and Phaedra wants a new spot to be on, so she just was like, I got no problem pushing that lady to the left, and that's pretty much what happened. We also find out that Phaedra does Reiki now. So I looked it up because I was like, what is Reiki? And it says Reiki is a technique that uses energy force to reduce stress and anxiety and encourage relaxation. The methods use gently touches and placements from healing and ties to improve balance in your body. It does not treat the condition on its own, but can be used to support traditional treatment you may receive. So Phaedra says she's been doing it for a while, ever since she got divorced from Apollo. So she is now a certified healer, or someone who can do the practices of Reiki. And she wants to do that for the ladies. I don't know what the other thing that annoys me about Phaedra is her always talking about her vagina. Why do we need to know you putting yoni eggs in your coochie? to like disrupt the soul ties, as well as when they was in Napa, she talking about she scared the sludge or the mud was gonna get her. I'm just tired of her talking about her vagina. She also talking about her vagina tastes like peaches. Girl, shut up, Phaedra. Shut up. Shut up. Eugene and Toya. Here's my thing with Eugene and Toya. I feel as though what Toya is asking of Eugene is not a big deal, but to us it seems like a big deal because we don't see Toya doing anything. So it just feels like you got one person doing all the heavy lifting in the house, which like, paying bills, doing all like the money stuff and work and labor. And then you got one person that just stays at the house and is a stay-at-home mom, but her kids are well beyond that age that their mom needs to really like do stay-at-home mom duties. And I think that's the issue. Like, what Toya is asking for isn't that big of a deal, other than her saying, like, all she's asking for is for what's his name, Eugene, to continue to be romantic with her, to continue to give her that type of energy that they had before they got, like, when they were getting together and really doing that type of stuff. And I think that the issue is just like, Eugene be tired and he's gotten complacent. But I feel as though if Toya had other things to do, she still might be asking the same things, but I don't think she would be as nitpicky. I feel like she would be more willing to compromise because she would understand that, like, I got stuff going on, he got stuff going on. You know what I mean? I think that's the issue that a lot of people are having with Toya, because to me, she's not asking for a lot of stuff, but she is being very critical and nitpicky. And it's like, girl, the reason you're able to live the lifestyle that you're living is off your husband's back. Like, we find out that Toya got a master's. Like, you not putting that master's to use, ma'am. And I'm not saying like she has to. Like, I know a lot of people are like, oh, y'all just want Toya to work and not live a life of leisure and luxury like our other female counterparts. And it's not that. It's just that, like, she's on a show where there's other women who have full-blown careers. You got Alicia, that's a doctor. Heavenly's a doctor. You got 2 OBGYNs. And then you have Phaedra, who I don't think she's still practicing law, but we saw her be an attorney. We ain't seen Toya do a much of nothing other than this wine club, which I'm not hating on. I think that's a great business venture for her. But compared to everybody else, it's like she don't do nothing. And it's like, and it's also kind of hard to be like, well, she's a stay-at-home mom. What she don't gotta do much. Her kids are like 11 and 12, aren't they? Or if they're not 11 and 12, they're like 9 and 10. And I think they're both about to hit middle school. I promise you, by the time me and my sister hit middle school, we were the ones getting up, washing our bodies, brushing our teeth, and, making ourselves breakfast. Sometimes my parents, if they had time before they went to work, would make us breakfast. But if they didn't, you pop in a toaster strudel in the microwave or in the toaster, or getting you an Eggo or some oatmeal, and you eating it, and then you packing your bag for class, and then you getting your key, locking the door, and running to the bus stop. Like, they are not at the age where they consistently, like, they might need to, because I think they are like 10 and 11, or maybe 11 and 12. But either way, they might still need it, but eventually they're not going to need Toya to get them up at 5:30 unless she drives them to school. If she's driving them to school, that's different. But once they at school, what else are you doing throughout the day? I think that's the thing. I feel like I thought she felt better when she was doing tennis, but it don't seem like she's still doing tennis. Like, I don't think she's still cool with the tennis people. But it's like, if you're not cool with them, find another league. Or like find a part-time job or a little charity event, like foundation you want to work with. You got to do something. Because even the ladies who live the life of leisure and luxury, they're socialites. They still go to like charity events and fundraisers and, rub shoulders with the people. We see it all the time in Real Housewives. They doing other stuff. Like, you got to find something, because you get bored. You got to find something else to do. So then we have this scene with Heavenly and Damon where they're at their house. And, they're talking about Alora leaving. Dr. Damon was in that confessional crying. My daddy cried when I left for college. And I think it's also like how far away she is. Like, I know when I did the math because we know that Giselle's daughter, Grace, is going to FAMU, and that's like 14 hours away from like the Maryland DMV area. So if from Georgia to Florida, I think is probably, because if North Carolina to Florida is 10 hours, Georgia to Florida is probably like, maybe, depending on what part, maybe I want to say maybe 8 hours, 8 hours possibly, 8 or 9 hours. I'm not the best. But, it's probably a hard pill to swallow that, like, she leaving, because it seems like they had, like, Alora has a great relationship with both Heavenly and Damon, but they then start talking about Heavenly's sister. She brings up how it was her mom's dying wish that they got together, which is kind of sick when you think about it, because Heavenly has pretty much let us know that the reason why her and her sister don't get along is because they have a lot of resentment between each other, because the mom pretty much said Heavenly was the ugly smart one and the sister was the dumb pretty one. So while the sister was out there running the streets of Miami, Heavenly was hauled up in a room without windows, forced to study, and that probably did a number on both of them. Heavenly's mouth is slick, and the sister is probably sensitive, or her mouth can be slick too. And I feel as though they probably exhibit the negative traits in both. And because just to think about it, like, if you're always considered ugly and just smart, it weighs on you. It does build into your insecurities, where it's like, okay, everyone's like, I'm never going to be aesthetically pleasing to people, so I just got to be smart. I always got to be the best, this, and this. It creates like perfectionism in you, as well as it makes you hella defensive against other people. And then the sister, if she was considered a pretty dumb one, she probably second guesses herself all the time, because it's like, am I smart enough to make this decision? Because I'm only pretty. I'm only so the mama did a number on both of them. But Heavenly and Damon were outside sitting and talking, and he pretty much said, like, if you have the opportunity, you should try to fix it with your sister, because we know Damon didn't get, he's of the, we saw that they did the flashback when the dad passed away, and we found out that Damon and his dad really didn't have the best relationship because his dad wasn't around all the time, and he wished that he had more time with him. And like Damon said, normally when people want to start talking to each other is when somebody about to die, and if you have the opportunity to speak to one another, you should. And I agree with him. I feel as though Heavenly and her sister, if they sat down in front of a counselor, not by themselves, I feel like they could make headway. I feel like they could make headway and really tap into the root of their issues and actually come together. I agree with Damon. Like, even if it doesn't work out, at least you can say you tried. That's the type of person I am. Like, at least you tried, so there's never the what if in your head that you didn't want to make that relationship work. But I'm also a believer that even after you try and it doesn't work, you can wash your hands of the situation, because there's nothing in the rule book that says you have to have a relationship with your family members or your family members. Like, you can create your own family by way of finding friends who are really good people and treat you right and love you for who you are. So hopefully Heavenly and her sister figure it out. T and this, her and Greg. If I'm honest, y'all, and I talked about this in my The Drama video, and I said some people might be mad with what I got to say, and that's cool. But I think we're seeing a reenactment more so. I think that's why people feel like Sweet Tea lying. I really do feel like that's why people feel like Sweet Tea is lying about having endometriosis and fibroids, because some people are really finding it very difficult, and me included, that this lady didn't know that something was seriously wrong with her before she promised to Greg that she could have a baby. So I feel like maybe this is a reenactment of like them going through the motions of this, because you can't tell me that. And I think if you had government insurance, bro, I'm sorry. And the amount of physicals you have to go through while you're in the armed forces, they would have told you something was wrong with you. They would have told. I just feel like something about it just don't seem right. And I know some people feel like a lot of people are being insensitive and mean, and that's your right to feel that way. But I genuinely feel like something about this storyline isn't right, and it feels as though, even when they had to sit down at the table, the way Greg was holding her hand, I just want to make sure you're okay. It felt fake. it didn't feel genuine. So I feel like maybe they already knew this before coming to the show, and now we're just like rehashing everything. Because even the way when she was about to cry, we didn't see no, she just immediately put it in her face. And it was like, I feel like she was hiding her face. I don't know. Something about it ain't right. Something about it ain't right. But he said he wants to make sure she's okay because that's all that matters. Excuse me, which is true. I've never got why women attach, or even men, we attach our like womanhood or manhood to like you producing children when like, and maybe it's because like I have a science background. Learning how like your body works, at like the male and the female body works when it comes to like getting it ready for a baby. There's so many things that shift in women and in men when it comes to hormones and things of that nature, that it's like it's not as easy as we think it is. Like, yeah, there's some people who just be popping out pregnant, but it's not that easy for everybody. So I've never attached my like who I am as a woman to like me being able to have a baby or conceive. So I do find it sometimes weird when women do that. I understand it, but like I said, maybe it's my science background where I'm just like, it's not as easy as we think it is. Okay, the amount of hormones that have to like set off in your body to tell your body to prepare for a baby, and then your baby technically not technically is a leech. Like it siphons from bone marrow, your teeth. It's taking your oxygen. It's taking your blood. Like sometimes your body be like, I don't want that in me. I'm just saying. It is this sound bath Reiki thing with Phaedra. Girl, first of all, I didn't understand what Phaedra had on. I was like, girl, what? But I ain't gonna be disrespectful. Like how us black people be. It ain't got nothing. Blood of Jesus. If it ain't got Jesus, we don't want to be a part of it. But everybody did the sound bath. Phaedra played her flutes. They then had like a private session with Heavenly. Heavenly was playing on their table when that man was like, doing whatever he was doing, and she popped up her test. I said, you better stop before you. You know what? So like I believe in certain things. I do believe in God, but I do believe that there are things in this world we can't understand. So I do believe in like energy, spirits, and all of that stuff. And I do like when people be playing, especially when people be playing with the Holy Ghost, when they act like they caught the Holy Ghost, I be like, you gonna play and get caught up. And I felt like Heavenly doing all the, girl, you might play and get yourself caught up. And then she ended up feeling a release when they did the treatment. So then Phaedra and Heavenly have a conversation about her sister. And Heavenly says, I have a good life, and I don't know if I want to open up this can of worms of bringing my sister in my life. Like, I don't know. And Heavenly was like, yeah, you may not know, but there's something there, because Heavenly said, like, she feels kind of like something hurts when the guy was doing, I don't know what they was doing, but I guess ushering, trying to resurge the energy or something, or move the energy. And she said she felt like something hurt or like a release. So clearly there's something there. And like Phaedra said, like there's something there. You know what I mean? You want to talk to your sister, so you should talk to your sister. While Phaedra and Heavenly are talking, the rest of the ladies that came are talking to Sweet Tea. Sweet Tea lets them know about her endometriosis. Dr. Simone and Jackie was looking at her, especially when she said how big they were. She was like, they were bilateral, and I think she was like, she said like 40 something centimeters, and they were like, girl, that's big. And then they explained about how you can take them out, but because I think Toya was like, so if she gets rid of them, she could get pregnant. And they were like, that's not necessarily the case. Like, you can take them out, but you would have to heal up. But that's not a guarantee. Like, they do oftentimes comes back after you get rid of them. And I was like, oh. So that's probably why some people get ovarianectomies or full-on hysterectomies. Ovarianectomy just means to remove your ovaries. And then a hysterectomy, I think a hysterectomy is when they take away your uterus. Is it the uterus? I think it is. They take away your uterus. Let me see. Yeah, take away. They remove your uterus. Surgical removal of your uterus. So she like so she kind of had this look on her face like, well, Sweet Tea had this look on her face like, oh, like I guess like I feel like that doctor probably told her that, but that like even if she has surgery, it like no, the doctor did say there's like a 50% chance of, well, you know what, I might be thinking of the preview that we saw for next episode. But pretty much they told her like there's a chance you can have a baby, there's a chance you may not have a baby because they might come back, but it's all up to you. And there's other options. You could do surrogacy. They also was like, I like that they harped on like, well, has, you know, he gotten tested too, because it might not just like, it's not just you. And I think Jackie said you need to be producing at least 20 million sperm. And I think when Sweet Tea and Dr. Greg sat down, he said he got his done and he was doing 40 million. I don't know. I really fast forward through they scene, if I'm be honest. But Heavenly and Phaedra come out. Heavenly says she feels a shift in energy. And then she also says that, you know, she happy that she participated in it. And then they all kind of just laugh and was just like, you know, this was a nice experience. And they all feel free. I think Toya Googled it and was like, did you hear voices? And Phaedra was like, voices? And she was like, well, I Googled that you can hear voices. Crazy thing is like, Phaedra's not adding anything to the cast. To me, she's not taking anything away, but she's not adding. And they sold her as someone that would be an add to the cast. But we aren't learning anything really new about Phaedra. And I feel like there's but so long that she'll be able to coast. Like, they need to start forcing Phaedra to have serious conversations. Or that the production needs to tell her, girl, you're going to have to start telling us a little bit of something, or we need to start bringing you back. Woo. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Remember to be bravely authentic and hop down in them comments below. Deuces.